Okay, so let me quickly share my experience in two police stations today. Funnily, when I was leaving the house this morning, I didn't think I didn't. It wasn't part of the plan that I was going to spend at least about 6 hours at two police stations today. So I just want to give you the experience. Number one, to share my experience. Two, lessons to learn from it. Not just from my own experience, from the various cases I witnessed at the police station. So mine happened to be the fact that I paid somebody to carry out a service, and the person, there's this new word I learned in a movie. Okay, I learned it, I heard it before. The person base, you not even know base. The person just stopped picking my calls. The person stopped. What's the word again? Stop picking calls. Obviously, did not show up. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. A lot of people were calling. Different people were calling him. Person no more picking a call again, and I'd sent him money, and so I was already thinking of probably just getting somebody else to do the job. But I remember somebody referred this guy to me. Now I'd be using this guy for various services. He's a tiler, so I'm into interiors and has to do with the renovation of properties and the rest. So this guy had been working for me in previous projects, and usually before now I would go to the market, get the tiles, get the products, get the things, and he would just get the petty things like maybe sand and some other things, and he would do the job. But this one, the job wasn't a big job, so I felt, okay, fine, let me just send the money to him, let me just go get it and do it. And since he had worked with me like 3, 4, 5 times, I just trusted that, okay, felt he would do it, not knowing that the guy was going to act funny. Anyway, I remember somebody referred him to me, so I called the number, and the guy that I called that referred him to me told me to come immediately to meet him up at where he usually stays, called Nikon Junction in Abuja. So I immediately drove down there, and I thank God as I got there, the way you have a lot of missing, they will be by the road looking for people to come and employ their services. And so they all came, and he too was about coming. He saw the car. I'm sure he saw me. He just held back a bit. But then I already spotted him. I told him, okay, enter, enter, enter. And of course, I already caught him. So he entered the vehicle, he put his equipment there, even in the boot safe. So, and that was how what's the word now? And that was how I was like, okay, guy, wait, what happened? He was just telling me one story upon the other. His father, his mother, this one died, he went to the village. But of course, we're just lying, just telling me stories. So at the point I was like trying to make it look like, guy, if you don't pay my money, you could go station and everything to see what he will see. And he said he had used part of the money, but he had part of the money that I said, okay, who's with the money? He said it was the friend. He was going to call the friend to pay. I said, okay, no, well, if you can get part of the money and the rest. But then he was like, no, God, no worry, I could do the work tomorrow. Trust me, I'm feeling it. I was just looking at him. Are you kidding me? Am I a baby? I'm feeling it, waiting. I beg, give me my money back. But anyway, the guy was just telling me stories. So I took him to one of my one of the offices just to delay to see and everything. The guy was still telling me stories. At the point, I knew that this guy was taking me for granted. So anyway, that was how I now took him to the station. Even when we're going to the station, that's okay, okay, give me your account number. I would pay the money that we should not go to the station. That's okay, fine. No, well, I didn't want to go to the station. I know the way police things can be. Oh yeah, pay the money now. That was how my guy kept acting like he was going to transfer the money and everything. I said, okay, we're entering the station if I don't see this money and everything. Anyway, the guy did not pay. That's how I got to the station. When I got to the station, I walked majestically. I said, you know the way you see police officers in front of the gate and the rest? That's a Mabuchi police station in Abuja. So they said, where am I going to? I said, I want to see the DPO. For me, like as if I know somebody. Anyway, so they said DPO is not around. They now asked me what was the issue. I told them. They directed me to meet to one other office where 2 women were there and the rest. And that's what they asked the guy was also speaking Hausa, talking and everything. But anyway, while I was there, the first case I experienced, and I want to share this experience because I feel people should learn from it. So this was a lady that she was in a vehicle, what you call one chance, where you enter a vehicle. They robbed her of her phone, and they really beat her, as in you could see her eyes swollen, and they took her phone, took I think he said about 900,000 naira from her account. The one that not even amazed me was the fact that they now used our account or used our details to open a loan app. I think it's Fair Money, and they took a loan of 600k. As in, when I heard that, like, are you serious? So Fair Money now gives loan up to 600k like that for the first time, and that was how they took the loan of 600k. So I don't know what anybody can advise. If you think there's something we all should know, so that when people find themselves in this situation, they cannot fall victim, as people cannot just use their phone and take loan. Is there anything one can do to, I don't know, if you think there's something you can do, please share it up on the share it on the comments, what people can do that if they find themselves in this kind of situation that they cannot use their details to take a loan. But anyway, that was how they took the money from her, about 900k, and borrowed about 600k now, from her and everything. So she came to the station and she was able to file a complaint. And so, number one, I think she had complained to Fair Money. I think Fair Money said they needed maybe police report or something like that, and that was why she went to report, and also so they could track the phone. And that was when one of the police officers said that it could help her to track the phone and the rest. And those people, while they stole the phone, they signed out what they call it again, Apple. The Apple account, they call Apple ID or something like. They signed out and the rest, and the police were like, oh, that's even good that they signed out, that they will be able to trace it and the rest. So if you have an idea about this tracing thing, let us know. Then also, if for those of you that use Apple devices, what is it that one can do? So you find yourself in this kind of situation, you can track your phone maybe without having to go through the police, or even if you have to go through the police, that will make it easier for them to track. So that's one thing. If you have an idea or you've had an experience before, you're able to track your phone or something, you're able to get it, let me know, because the police officer said he has been able to do it for like 2-3 people. And in fact, one of them, he told the lady to pay him 50k or something like that. Then when he brings the phone, lady now promised that she would give him 100k, and he did it and everything. I even collected the guy's number in case maybe you need this kind of services. Maybe I can share the number with you. That was that. And I pitied her because she was looking at someone that they really beat a lot and the rest. And also just want to advise people, especially people in Abuja, be very careful. These things are happening every single day. Be careful of the kind of vehicles you enter. In fact, I don't even know, maybe let it be a motivation for you to get your own car or something, sure, but be careful, look out, be on the watch out, whatever you can do to protect yourself. More importantly, stand on God's word. One thing I do is that I keep declaring God's word over my life protection, that I cannot fall victim to one chance, even though I don't enter public vehicles. But whether it's public, whether anything, I will not. And I believe the angels of the Lord are watching over me. I stand on it and I believe in it. That's one area you can prevent that from happening. I'm not saying that things like that don't happen to people that stand on God's word, but I'm just saying that you can hold on to God's word for it. That's one experience I noticed. That the second one was tenants that went to be planting in the compound that is not theirs. It's a rented apartment, and we're planting, and I don't know whether the landlord or so had died, so the son was not the owner of the property, and the son said they should clear their plants and everything. They didn't, and the son called joint task force to clear it, and they cleared it, and they were fighting with the joint task force JTF. Those ones came with gun, and they were fighting, and the guy was holding a gun, the fault and the rest. Anyway, the matter and one of them came to report to the police. And I thought about it, that how come people can take that kind of risk where you know that this person is, sorry about that, you know that this person is holding a gun, and you are wrestling, as in women, they were wrestling with the guy and everything. Thank God that there was no accidental discharge. But I just want to say to people, when matters like this happen, please, when matters like this happen, please do not drag and be fighting. Even the police were saying that, look at the risk they were taking. What if that happened? There was an accidental discharge. That's how somebody would have lost their life or gotten injured. I don't know, this person's calling me. If the person calls again, maybe I might just end this and pick the call. Anyway, that was how they dragged the matter to the police station and everything. It was the tenant, one of the tenants, that took the matter to the police station because he felt like the JTF, they harassed his wife, and they took the matter to the police station and they were dragging about it. Let me just end and pick this call. Can you imagine? I just received a call from the police officers that I have to come, that the guy has not paid anything. So I had to leave the guy there, because after sitting for like 2-3 hours just hearing different people's cases and everything, I was just amazed at the different stories. And when I realized I spent like almost 3 hours there, I had to tell the police officers that I had other things to go to. Hopefully that the guy was going to pay the money, but now they just called me that the guy has not paid anything, that I should come, whether they want to intervene with the DP or something like that. And I wish that I don't have to go back. I'm already in church already, so I have to drive now to the police station. But let me finish the story. So back to the other case I was talking about. So the tenant actually took the matter to the police station, and the lawyer of the landlord also came and everything, and they're dragging the matter. But one thing the police people said to when they had gone, even was trying to tell them that you guys are very funny, that you guys are tenants, you're planting in a compound that is not yours. The landlord told you to clear your plants and everything. You did not clear it, and they got joint task force and they cleared it, and you are claiming that you lost plants worth of 2 million or thereabouts. That number one, did they rent the compound space for you? Was it not just your flat they rented and everything? But it was just an amazing case. And why it's amazing to me is because, so in church they've been talking about the fact that let's plant, look for space around to plant as much as you can plant. And in fact, last Sunday somebody came to talk about planting and the benefit of it, a smart farming and the rest. When I heard this case in the station, I'm like, before people like us that want to go and plant in another person's house, they will not come again and everything. But it was just a funny case, and just to say that even when you want to plant in people's compounds that are not yours, be very careful. Be very careful, because landlord can come tomorrow and say, what is all this, please clear and take it. I don't even care whether it's harvest or it's not harvest and the rest. But what do you think about it? Because even though the police was like, the landlord shouldn't have called the joint task force JTF and they would have come with gun, because it would have been worse than that. But anyway, that was just that one. It was just a funny case, and they were been dragging the matter. So it was like whether they should take it to court and all those stuff. What do you guys think about that one? Have you had any experience like that? Landlord tenant, you planted, and what happened? The landlord was opposing. Then another case was phone. This one, so guys, I know that a lot of times some people prefer to buy secondhand expensive phones like iPhones, the 15 Pros, the 14 Pro Max and the rest, because number one, brand new one is very expensive, and you feel like you can do with they call it UK use and the rest. Do you know that most of these phones, or some of these phones they call UK use, are actually not UK use? Oh man, I have to be going back to the station. They are not actually UK use phones. They are phones that have been stolen and brought back and sold to the marketers. The marketers will now sell it to you as UK use. They know how the way they will package it that will make it look like UK use. Of course, you are looking for a good deal, you will see it and you would want to buy it. While I was there, I heard of cases, as in one, not just one, two or three, of somebody bought a phone. The person that they stole the phone from got to the police station, paid, they tracked the phone, and it was now the buyer of the phone that they now brought to the station. The buyer of the phone did not know that it was a stolen phone. And one of the cases, it was so sad that the buyer of the phone bought it from somebody online. The person, I think, advertised on Gigi, bought it online from the person. And the moment the seller sold the phone to this buyer, he stopped using that line. So now the buyer cannot give, because the buyer they are not even in the same state. The person paid the money. I think the person is in another state, paid the money to the buyer, to the seller, and the seller sent the phone, way bid it or something, to another state. So now they've arrested the buyer, the person that is using the phone now. The person cannot bring the seller because it was an online deal. So that's on that lesson. When you're buying things online, be careful, especially when it comes to gadgets like phones. I would have probably made the mistake in the past, looking for a good deal. Somebody wants to sell, the person says and everything. But what I would have done, I would have loved to meet them in their place, like in their house or their shop or something. If anything happens, I can. But of course, there are people that sell things from another state, and you want to buy, you feel like it's a good deal. I don't know if I've bought any gadgets, anything like that, not a phone, but something, maybe one of the gadgets I use for my photography and the rest. But anyway, that was how the buyer is now in the police detention, because now you can't provide who sold you the phone. So what's the proof that you're not the one that you're not part of the robbers that robbed the original owner of the phone? So automatically, number one, even they're going to take the phone from this buyer to give to the original owner. But then how do you even prove that you are not even one of the robbers that robbed the original owner of the phone? So that's another thing we need to be careful for those of you that buy second-hand phones, especially the ones that will tell you they're UK phones and everything. You want to buy from a trusted, well-known vendor, as in a big name that you can be sure that the big name is not buying stolen phones. Because even there are some names that they may appear big, but they do a lot of a lot of UK use or US use or whatever, but sometimes they buy from people that just says they want to sell their phone, just like me taking my iPhone out to the market and said I want to trade it. Maybe I'm using iPhone 15 and I want to trade it, add money to buy iPhone 16. Sometimes they do those kind of deals. Sometimes, what's the proof? that I'm not bringing a stolen phone. So that's another thing that you want to be aware of. Then what's the third case I experienced? I think 2 cases of stolen phones. Okay, I've mentioned the tenant one. I think there's one that has to do with 2 tenant fighting. There's one more other case. Okay, this one. Anyway, I said there were 2 police stations that I was in. The second one has to do with so after I left that one, left the Tyler guy at the station, and I went to Banex. So I bought this device, Bluetooth earpiece. You know, these days Bluetooth earpiece are usually very expensive now. The iPhone one, the Apple one is I think about 500k or something like that. But I bought one of them, and just to find out, first of all, when I was buying it, it was sealed. It wasn't sorry, hold on, let me just open this door. So it was sealed. It wasn't this door will be making noise. Okay, so when I bought it wasn't sealed. The pack was already open. So I was asking him, why is it open? He said that somebody had somebody was willing to buy it. They tested it, but later the person wasn't able to pay for it, and that was why. And I trusted him because it was a shop and everything. And to me, I felt it was even an advantage because I was not sure of how the bars was. So I wanted to test it, connect and test it. When I was looking at the other ones that was sealed, I was like, if I open them and the bars is not as the way I wanted, they probably forced me to buy. So this one that was already open, let me test it. And I tested it, the bars was good, and I felt this was the kind of quality I wanted. And I paid for it, and I left. But I didn't use it immediately. I think it was some later, a week or thereabout, and I used it, and I found out that the battery doesn't last. It wasn't durable. You charge it and you use after maybe like 1 hour or so, to tell you low battery. After like 7 seconds, it was going to go off, and that was what I noticed. And I was looking for opportunity to take it back. I couldn't have a free time. Later, when I got the opportunity today, I went to Banex to return it. And when I got there, I first told him, that guy, this thing was bad now. You shouldn't have sold it to me and the rest. Maybe that's the reason why it was already open. The former person I wanted to pay for it. Like, no, that was not the case. And I said, anyway, the battery doesn't last. What are we going to do? First of all, the guy just did as if I wasn't talking to him. He first left the shop, went to somewhere, came back later, and I was like, I'm the one that probably would have spoiled it. I didn't charge it. I was like, what do you mean I didn't charge it? Of course, I know that I have to charge devices like that. To cut the long story short, this guy was not willing to do anything. I was like, I'm not even asking for a refund, and let me get another one, maybe something that is better. But he wasn't. At that point, I was like, man, what am I going to do? And this is expensive. So I asked for the nearby police station, Banex. They had the police station, and I went there and I told them, and they sent an officer to follow me, and we went to meet the guy. The guy was still talking, making it look. First of all, they asked him, do you know this guy? He first denied that he didn't know me. One mistake I made was that I didn't collect a receipt from the guy, because that day I was in a hurry. I didn't. So when he said that he didn't know me, I just told the guy, you're funny. I knew you were going to say this. That was why I was recording our conversation when I first went to your shop. So the moment he heard that, he knew that this guy was recording conversation. That means that he cannot say he doesn't know me again, because there's evidence that I bought the stuff from him, because when I went to meet him, we talked about it and the rest. That was when we got to the station. He was not saying that I used the stuff for more than 2 weeks. Why didn't I bring it immediately? Blah 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 and everything. I'm like, guy, first of all, this thing was already open. Number 2, I didn't use it immediately. Number 3, I was looking for the best time to come. I didn't have the time to come and everything, but he was just standing on the ground. You know the way some marketers would be that like they don't want to and the rest. The police people now spoke, and they said, see guy, what's the solution? That's the way forward. Finally, he now said that I will have to add money to it, and it will give me a different product. So what he did was that he gave me another product which was better, but added much more money so that it would still make profit. I didn't mind, because I just wanted to get something else and go with it. But while I was now in the station, this was now in Banex, after I left there, where I'm just coming from to go to church now, where they just coming out to go back to the station. That was when while I was there, different people were coming. One person, similar matter of somebody brought a phone to sell to him in the market. He's a marketer, and he bought the phone. Later to find out that the phone is a stolen phone, and when they tracked it and everything, he had to pay back the phone. He had even sold it to somebody, but anyway, the person that bought it had to drop the phone. He had to pay the person the money for it and everything. So that was for buyers, people that into this business. Of course, I'm sure you already know that. Be wary of the kind of phones you buy, because people will always bring phones they want to sell. So you have to find a way to listen. While I was there, another one again, what was it again? She sells phones. Somebody else came to meet her that also sells phones, told her that he has a client that want to buy one phone, iPhone something that is about 500k, and he gave the guy the way they would normally do in the market. Okay, take, go sell now, bring my money back, and the rest. That I gave the guy the phone to go and sell. The guy sold the phone 500 something, did not bring the money to meet her, and the phone was not even asked. He took it from another shop, and that's how the matter dragged from November till now. He had only paid 300k, and they were dragging, and the rest. And I was just thinking how it's funny how people in the station, you kind of stories you hear. There are even some other stories, but I can't even talk now because after going back to the police station, and people thinking, should I even go back to the station? This is past 6. I'm meant to be in church now. What do you guys think? Should I go back to the station or just go tomorrow? I told them I'm already in church. I'll come tomorrow. They're like, no, I have to come and everything. What do people think? Anyway, from all the stories I've told, if you have any similar experience, please drop it on the comments, or advice that you can advise in this matter, please let me know. Thank you very much, and God bless you.